I really get asked a lot about my process and how I work and so on like that. And I've been really hesitant, to tell you the truth, on putting something out there because my feeling is, I mean, I've always felt like no one wanted to see me draw or watch me do it. But at the same time, I'm also really, I don't know, weird about having people watch me draw. It's kind of tough to explain, but it's one of those things where it's like if I feel someone watching over my shoulder or whatever like that, and doing the Let's Draws that I have done so far, that you've seen here or whatever, it's been fun. It's been really interesting. I tried to make it fast because really, when you look at the time frame of me working on a project, God, I can take forever when drawing something or working on something, and it's tough for me to talk and work at the same time because I end up distracting myself or getting caught up with stuff I'm saying, and doing that taking for freaking ever. And I don't really feel like people want to watch like 45 minutes of me drawing or sketching or whatever like that and talking about it. But I get asked a lot of the time, like, hey, I'd sure love to see how you do this or how you do that. And I'm like, okay, cool, I can try and show you. See, like now, for example, I'm sitting here talking and sketching and whatever, and it's actually kind of tough because I'm wanting to focus on one or the other. Like, gaming while talking is a different story because unless I'm really, really, really serious about what I'm doing, and let's really be honest, you've seen what I'm doing on this channel. Serious is not part of the equation. Unless I'm really being super serious, it's not that difficult a thing for me, but if I have to start trying to be like super, super serious about what I'm doing, it becomes a very, very boring experience because I get quiet and focused and all that crap. But anyways, what I was hoping to accomplish here was I was like a live session of drawing, but a more focused session of drawing from me, and give you an idea of what my process is like for certain things. So in the case of this, for example, I was merely just going to show you how I do certain facial things, eyes and noses and mouths and stuff like that. So let's see how that goes. I am going to be all over the place on these, man. If I start doing these a little bit more often, especially because I ramble, especially when I'm trying to focus on multiple things. So, please bear with me. But let's talk eyes. I was a kid drawing eyes and stuff. The way I used to draw them, very thick eyebrows and very wide open eyes. I was part of that select group as a kid that got into the anime and the manga and something like that. Again, for my time frame, pre large scale internet and pre large scale communication, especially in the area I grew up, didn't really have a whole lot of options. So when I did get exposed to it through generally, the Sci-Fi Channel back in the day airing anime stuff, and me realizing that, oh, hey, it's, Japanese animation. A lot of my favorite TV shows as a kid, a lot of it was done overseas and stuff. That explains that particular look it had. So yeah, that played a really heavy hand in the way I developed drawing eyes. Like if I really were looking back, as a matter of fact, here, screw this. If I really look back when I used to do cartoons and stuff all the time, I had this very classic animation way of drawing eyes on my characters, and I like to think that part of that led to where I am now in terms of drawing the eyes like I do to a large degree. If I try to be more serious about it and do a more realistic look to it, let's really show right here. Anybody who's ever seen any of my art in the past, like 5 or 6 years, has definitely been able to spot this style of the way I do the eyeballs and so on like that. Influenced by a lot of my favorite artists and whatnot, both in terms of comics and animation. I could be here all day naming off names, but I think about guys like Adam Warren, Chris Pacello, Joe Madura, all like huge influences on my art and the way I do things. A little bit more cartoonier version would be similar in shape, but not as heavily detailed. But I like doing the wee bit more heavily detailed versions because, I don't say heavily detailed, but you get the idea, because they tend to be, I don't know, a little bit more unique in a sense. Although I really probably should pick a good even ground. And I'm very inconsistent here lately in these past couple of years, I think, in terms of how I'm doing a lot of my old detailed stuff and eyes and so on like that, and largely because I've yet to really pick up a style that's an easy multi-step maneuver, you know. But again, as you're seeing, a lot of my eyes are 4-step maneuvers. I used to, and I still kind of do at times, start with eyebrows, and then the inside of the eye, the over part, and then the underneath. And then whatever part I have left underneath here. Man, I am going to really be all over the place here. But all in all, how I've always done eyes in this style. And if you look at a lot of my more recent art, you'll see a ton of it, you know. It looks like this. And depending on the character itself, what kind of eyebrow we're talking here, bushy or, well, most of my eyebrows are generally bushy. I've always been a fan of large expressive eyebrows. I feel like simple line eyebrows just don't cut it, you know. They look boring and unexpressive. And as you may notice, when I do the irises and so on like that, I've gone with doing these large multi-circled styles. Again, a mix of some of the styles I've seen out there that have really influenced me, certain artists and whatnot. But again, I dig how expressive they can look. How much, especially if you're drawing really small, how much easier they are to make out in the eyeball, you know. But yeah, so there's eyes from me in a nutshell. One thing I picked up on, I cannot remember the name of the artist, but the guy who does all the character art for the Guilty Gear games. I loved the way he did lashes and whatnot, especially on the bottom part of the eyes. And so I totally try to rip that off. If you've ever seen any of my art, you'll see that I have definitely picked up on ripping that off. But I really dig it a lot, and try to incorporate it in my own work as much as possible. Sometimes to the degree that I think it almost ruins the art in a sense, because I end up paying so heavily attention to that area of the eye, like especially underneath, you know, that it almost feels like I lost focus on everything else on the eyeball, you know, or the eye region. Gotta put up a counter for every time I say ball. You get the idea though here, what's happening. So yeah, there's that. So that's eyeballs and in a wee bit of a nutshell of sorts. Next up, let's talk noses. Get our sniffers on. And again, growing up, being influenced by the things I was, especially during my early teens, I guess, would be the case with the anime and manga and so on like that. You always used to see the really simple nose designs out there. And I've never been a fan. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking it, because man oh man is it easy to pull off and put together in an image. But what I hate about it is it's so common. There's nothing really special about it. And I always had a weird way with noses, outside of the cartoony types. Like when I used to do little cartoons of me, I'd always give myself the pug nose. It's characteristic, I guess. I don't know. Like seriously, every time when I was a teenager, I drew myself the same way. I still kind of do, I'm not going to lie. I have the glasses, my little pug nose, big grin, and my, at the time, depending on the time frame, either long or short hair. mind you, this is just really quick. I'm not, putting detail into it. But those of my friends out there who knew me during this time would automatically recognize that this was supposed to be me, But yeah, noses. Sorry, got off topic. Noses. I, in my later years, have tried to do a more, I don't want to say realistic, but a focus in a nose that's going to be easily seen as a nose. And in most cases, when I do that, whatever the view may be, I try to start with a general shape and then fill it in. I actually really, design-wise, fell in love with the way noses were being done. Crap, I'm gonna forget the name of there's an animated series that aired recently, just did one season on Comedy Central, and the visual style of the characters were like those old 80s paintings you saw hanging like in hotels and stuff like that, the pale white skin, dark hair and all that. I forget the name of it, but I'll when I edit this, I'll put the name of the show in there on the screen somewhere. But anyways, I just kind of fell in love with the way they design noses, and I tried to kind of incorporate that, in that they would show the indentaments of the area of the bridge of the nose. I was really digging that, so I've just been trying to incorporate that in my most recent stuff too. But yeah, in most cases, different nose types, because there are so many. But I love the visual of the I'm gonna call it the bulbous nose, but being able to have the area, this little front part of your nose here. Imagine I'm reaching at my nose, okay? Front part of the nose there being used as a measuring point, and then the side areas. I've also found that I need to break myself of the habit of getting too detailed with noses, because it throws everything off in the art when I do. Like, I'll have a general cartoony face, and then do this like super realistic nose, and well, I'm not gonna say super realistic, but you get the idea. And it feels kind of like you throw off the whole balance of the picture, So, as again, I try to think about that. Keep the nose at least cartoony enough, or aesthetically cartoony enough, but yet still give the point across that it is a nose, and not just simply a input line, nostril, and permanent shadow like you would see in a lot of the early animes and mangas and stuff of my time growing up, and to a degree still to this day. Now, there are artists out there, I'm not going to name names, but artists out there who are making this work for them absolutely perfectly because it fits the aesthetic of their visual, but I just never really felt like it fit my aesthetic artistically. There have been times, depending on the character of the drawing, if you've ever seen that Blood Brain I drew back in forever ago, 2003 I think, 2004, you see evidence of this style of nose involved with it. And as much as I love Adam Warren's art, he's been able to make these noses, the style of this nose, work for him perfectly well. If Highlander rules were a thing, I'd almost hate to do it, but I would lovingly chop his head off and gain his skills. Okay, he's never going to hear this, but I'm kidding, Adam. I love you. Your art's great, and I absolutely love that you're openly a recluse. Everything I strive to be. But yeah, so from a front view, I usually do this little upside down kite design. And that gives me a good way to line up my nose, put my nostrils in. Actually, a good percentage of time for myself, and this is something I picked up from years of looking at Adam Warren's art and trying my hardest to rip it off as a kid, and to this day, when I am doing eyes, from a quarter view most notably, and I start out with the eyebrows, almost always I will go from the eyebrows and pretty much work my way to the nose. I mean, if you've ever watched me draw, if you look at those videos, actually, you've seen them here on the channel, you'll note that is something I do. I go straight from the eyebrows to the bridge of the nose if it's going to be a side view, and lay out the character's face. You know, heck, at the beginning of this video, you saw me do it. So, you know, yeah. God, I can't really think of anything else about noses I want to say other than, you know, I've been trying to get braver with, you know, where I'm placing noses, like from angles, different views and stuff, underneath, and so forth. Sometimes I'll cheat. I just do the classic, you know, turn down nose view of something, even if it's a head-on view. It doesn't always look great, but you get the idea. But yeah, so noses in a nutshell. If you have a face layout and you actually lay down your triangle, your upside down kite, pretty much making it look like the Muppet Bert, why not? But anyways, if you lay out that general shape and within it do the circle, the sides, the area that will lead up to the bridge, or not a bridge, sorry, the eyebrow, gives you a general shape of the nose to work with. And same to be said from the side, do that triangle. And let's really be honest, it's easier to do the nose from the side. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, noses, boom. What's up? Alright, so let's talk mouths. Not gonna lie, I in the beginning not the beginning, but you know, like, again, early teens, I was enamored with the way that certain artists, most notably, again, going to go ahead and say Adam Warren. If, again, you've seen any of his art, you'll see a lot of influence of his work in mine. But the way he did mouths, there's an old Morgan I drew back in like 97 that is blatantly ripping off a lot of Adam Warren's visual aesthetic, especially when I did the mouth. I've always been a fan of the way he did it, because when he would draw the mouths, he, unlike a lot of the people who were doing anime and manga based art at the time, he would do full lips, and I was just like, that's so cool looking, I love it, I want to steal it. Because everywhere else, including my own art, I was always afraid to put lips on my characters because they would look ridiculous. You know, I would be drawing a character and everything would be hunky-dory in terms of the cartoon style that I was doing, you know, and whenever it came down to it, even if I took the time to do a decent, not cartoony nose and, you know, detail on the hair and eyes and all that stuff like that, whenever I'd put a mouth on them, you know, putting lips on them made them look ridiculous, made them look weird, unnatural, whatever. So, you know, I was just trying to find an efficient way. Otherwise, I would just simply draw a mouth on the character. You know, here's a grin, yay! Look at this guy, he's happy. But yeah, so then I picked up on some of the ways he was putting lips on male characters, which, you know, in my small little mind, seeing that, oh wow, you put lips on a male character, but it makes them look effeminate. But no, it doesn't. It makes them look like people. And so I tried to pick up on the way he was doing that, and it can vary. It can sometimes go great. It can sometimes look god awful. But, you know, toy with it and get to where you're happy with it, and you'll be amazed. But yeah, so again, another thing, if you look at my art, you'll see it and you'll go, he obviously is ripping off Adam Warren with that. I can't believe him, but it's the truth. I absolutely love fuller, more, like, I'm gonna say voluptuous lips, but I just like the fuller lip look. It's really cool. And if you look at a lot of anime-based drawings, you really rarely ever see, well, at the time anyway. Now it's a bit more common, but at the time you didn't see it a lot. You always saw the small detail focus at best. Hey, look, it's Princess Peach's lips. Mario. Alright, so, yeah, you would see that a lot. I, again, have gotten to the point now where someone actually recently told me they found it to be a bit of a signature of my artwork to see the full lips or thicker lips, and I, was just like, nah, that's just a example of me totally ripping off one of my favorite artists and one of his most commonly known things. I'm the worst. So yeah, whenever I'm drawing mouths or whatever on notably on female characters, because let's really be honest, if you've seen my art, if you've followed me or whatever, then you definitely know I draw a ton of women. But what can I say? We draw what we desire out of life the most. Am I right? Getting all kinds of deep on here. Okay, so I most times actually will do just like I said before, where I would go from the eyebrow into the nose. That would usually follow up with a simple line and go to the mouth as well. And it's something, if you look at a lot of my artwork, especially if I'm doing like portraits of people or trying to capture the look of somebody, I almost do that without even realizing it sometimes, and it kind of takes away from the overall look of the person. Like, not everyone has the defined above the lip line going from the nose, but if I'm drawing you, by God, you're going to. So you can just deal with it. But yeah, I'm trying to think of a way to talk lips here, actually. So most times what I'll do, and especially with the way I've been inking stuff digitally here lately, it's really hard to make it out because I tried to make everything such a complete line for the sake of coloring later. And now, as I think about it, especially this past couple months, I've been thinking a lot about it. I want to break that habit and get out of doing that. But old habits, But yeah, so start with the basis of the mouth itself. So here's the centerpiece of the lip, a little piece right above the top part of your mouth's opening. It comes down on the sides here and here, depending on the look you're going for. The cool thing about doing lips is you can always still add a smile and it still be pulled off. The part above, and there's different ways you can do it depending on the style. Sometimes you can do the little cusp area right there underneath the nose, or otherwise you can just do a circular part. I feel like it gives character each different time. Then the bottom part of the mouth again can be different per character style of drawing or whatever, and then the bottom. And bada bing, bada boom, there you go. As again, I really can't think of any different ways to explain this to make it seem one better over the other, or whatever the case may be. But from the side view, super easy, because we all have a little curl up from underneath the nose. And go in and give a little smile there, and then the bottom lip will usually pop out. And you can either put just the mouthpiece there, or the teeth are, or whatever like that. The main reason I've always picked up on this, especially growing up and doing art, is one thing that used to, well, I'm not going to say it drives me crazy, because, again, it's a style thing, obviously. But the people who do, the side of the face and then put a mouth, the old side mouth, there's a whole internet debacle over this kind of thing. But I've never been a fan of it personally, and so I try to make an effort to put the mouth visually on the side of the face. Now that nose is way up there, isn't it? We'll pretend like that didn't happen, huh? There we go, that's a bit better. As you get the idea, I'm not going to go too deep into this. You get the idea of what I'm trying to to explain here with the way the mouths are usually. I am cursed to be known as the guy that has done the dreaded fish lips or duck lips or whatever when I draw characters, and I just think it looks cool, and always have in terms of my art. But I try to only use this style of mouth where it's appropriate or necessary. You're not going to have always a character you draw or a person you draw with full lips. There are ways to still make thin lips look cool, though. You can just ask whichever Jenner it is that didn't have lips until after she had surgery. I don't keep up with that, so I'm just merely going by the Facebook memes I see posted. Anyways, but yeah, you can totally make thin lips work. Like, in a sense, do them as a 3-line setup. These are just really simple and fast, but you get the idea. When you put detail to it, you can do that however you wish. But yeah, mouths, boom, there you go. Hey, you know what I just thought about? Ears. Haven't really talked about ears yet, have I? All right, let's talk ears. There are multiple ways you can do ears. I have been notorious for a particular style of doing them since I was 14. Project ACO. I saw Project ACO at 13 years old, and I remember the way the ears were drawn on the characters were simple outside shape, a lump on the inside, a circle, and another circle, or half circle, sorry. And I have been doing ears like that ever since. Mind you, the beginning it wasn't that great, but later on, and I try to do things with them sometimes to make them look more character specific, longer lobes, or the part of the ear right here coming out, and being done on the outside, just to give ear characteristics outside of being the same ear every damn time. But yeah, just the way I've always done it has been big loop for the top, cut underneath for the bottom, one big half circle that is the rim of the ear, the small circle that is the part that holds your earbuds in, the canal of that on the inside, and then a secondary loop, which if you put your finger right now, let's pretend that's your finger, if you put your finger right in this part of your ear, you'll feel what I'm trying to give an impression of with that. Ears are one of those things that you can't get overly detailed with because it becomes kind of hideous. Because ears aren't cool looking, I guess. I don't know. I mean, sorry, ear enthusiast out there, just saying. So you can't really do super detailed ears, because if you do, it can look pretty disgusting. But everyone has their own flavor and way of going about doing it. Experiment with it, toy with it, and see which one feels better to you or looks better to you, especially in terms of your overall art and aesthetic. I probably should have said this in the beginning, and I'm gonna say it now on the ear part. I'm gonna say it during the ear part. What I'm showing you here, honestly, is just how I do things. I don't want you to feel like you have to do things this way, because you don't. I remember taking drawing tests. Hey, if you can draw this turtle, then you can be an animator, and all that stupid. Anyone from my general generation will remember these stupid little tests used to be advertised on TV. Do you know how many of those things I did as a kid and was super bummed out I couldn't? Anyway, what I guess I'm trying to say here is, what I'm showing you is, again, how I do things, how I've been known to draw things, and where I've gotten after years upon years of sketching and doodling and whatnot. I in no way consider myself a professional. I in no way consider myself a pro artist or whatever like that. I just consider myself somebody who likes to doodle and draw and has done a little bit of here and there, having fun with it, and so forth and so on. And there have been times I haven't had fun with it. And I think good percent of those times that I didn't have fun with it were times where I was trying to be something that I wasn't. Someone else's style, someone else's ability, whatever like that. And if you find yourself doing that, it's not going to be fun anymore. You're not going to want to do it. But at the same time, it is super cool to watch other people draw, to see how other people do things. And I again, don't get the appeal of watching me do it personally, but man, watching some of these people on YouTube, one that comes to mind automatically, I'm just going to mention her, Blue Monica. She is amazing, and she hasn't done stuff in a while that I'm aware of, but she's great. But watching them and getting inspired from them, seeing how to do things, sure, absolutely cool. Overall, what I'm trying to say with this is, watching what I do and what I'm doing is neat, but again, in no way should you, as an artist or just someone who's interested, watch what I'm doing here, and think, oh, well, this is how it must be done. No. What I'm doing or showing you here is, how I do things. but you are going to find your own path on how to do things. You're going to figure out things on your own. You can experiment and toy, of course, but you're always going to figure out things by yourself, just from doing. Your style will be just that, your style. You can totally rip off your heroes, absolutely. I mean, good God. Without people to inspire you and make you want to do a certain way or a certain style, then, you'll never really get to know and grow. So, of course, yes, obviously, find what works for you and inspires you and so on like that, and rip as much of it off as you can, but make it your own, of course. Again, I'm just showing you how I do things, and if it inspires you and shows you something cool, then neat. But I don't want to come off as saying this is the official and only way to do this or that, whatever. It's not. There's tons of ways to do things and learn things, and you just have to spend time with it and get to know it. And of course, again, be inspired. Look at stuff I've done, and if you really like it that much, and I'm very, very thankful if you do, and I appreciate it, and I love you for it, because every artist is struggling. Everybody who does any form of art, be it photography, be it line art, be it sculpting, whatever, we're all struggling. We're all fighting to find what works for us, what our voice is, and visual and all that. And getting there is super hard, and validation is a huge part of it. I mean, I don't do art for anyone else unless they pay me to. Here all week, folks. I don't do this stuff for anyone but myself, because it gets me by, And if I can inspire or show someone else, neat, cool, awesome. But at the same time, like what I'm doing right now is merely nothing more than, okay, A, yes, to fill content for my page. B, get a lot of requests asking, how do you do this? Let's watch you work, whatever like that. And C, if someone sees this and gets a little inspired from it or whatever, neat, cool, that's awesome. Go make rad art and show me so I can be inspired from you. Please, I beg you. Man, I keep getting off track here. We were talking ears, weren't we? Yes, we were. But yeah, again, what I'm showing you is nothing more than how I do it. I don't want you to feel like it's something you have to do to accomplish a similar look or style. Just do you, man. Kids out there doing art, adults, whoever, whatever. Do you, man. There's a lot of great artists out there, and a lot of them that are overlooked, a lot of them that are in the spotlight, whatever the case. Just so long as you're doing you, man, and you're having fun, and you're happy. You don't even really have to be happy. I'm literally happy, maybe 40% with my art. The rest of it is, I hate this piece, but if I don't stop now, it'll never get done, or it'll never amount to anything. Just move on, But it's okay to not be happy with your stuff, man. Just, for the most part, do it for you, if anything. If someone else likes it, cool. If it's not their flavor, don't be upset. Don't get overly sensitive about it. There's a lot of art friends of mine who are feeling like, I'm not getting any likes on this piece I just did, and so that's that's on me as an artist. No, it's not. Your style isn't going to be everyone's flavor. When I was drawing cartoons and comics and stuff during, again, I'm showing my age with this, Art Summer, which was an art program I took place in when I was like in the fifth grade. The way I drew things and the way I did things was not to the teacher's liking. She hated it. And it did kind of bum me out, of course, but it's going to do that when you're a kid. But at the same time, looking back on it, I realized that, well, it's mostly because what I was doing was not her flavor. It wasn't her. It wasn't what she was into, And so I get that. And you got to, realize that there are going to be people that have styles that you like and people who have styles that you don't. There are artists who I love their style, and some artists I'm just like, not my flavor. But I still respect, and please, guys, respect each other on that, man. Know that just because it's not your flavor doesn't make it good. Think about it. For every artist who's doing perfect renditions of lifelike stuff, there's another artist that's doing cartoons and comics, but they're doing them and it makes them happy, and if it works for them, groovy. If you're not digging it, the taste of it, then don't buy that ice cream anymore. Not everyone is meant to enjoy pralines and dick. Man, Another reference that no one's going to get, but okay. Yeah, whatever. Okay, ears. Yeah, there you go. Boom. I guess that's everything. As I draw this last face here to use all the things that we talked about in this, I want to go ahead and just say thanks for tuning in if you did, or making it this far if you did. Thank you. If you like what you see here, obviously, like, comment, subscribe. I can already hear Bowman right now just going, oh god, I can't believe he said that. But yeah, there you go. If you like what you see, again, tune in. And if you have requests of things you'd like for me to attempt to cover, I'll be glad to give it a try. Can't really think of anything else to say here other than, again, thanks, man. Thanks for listening to me ramble. If you take any advice of anything I say here, cool, pass it on. Don't turn this whole thing into a circle jerk of, you said this, you said that. Share it with another artist, man. Like, if you know someone else that's struggling or whatever, help them. Tell someone that you appreciate their work, man. Tell someone that they're an excellent artist. You know how much it sucks if you yourself as an artist, man, wow, is an artist, listen to me, but you yourself as an artist know how much it sucks to pretty much have it where someone trashes what you do and doesn't understand it or doesn't appreciate it or whatever. It sucks, it hurts, despite whatever I've said here. I'd be lying if I didn't say, go through it myself. Why not? But if you see someone else doing something or attempting to do something or whatever the case may be, let them know you think they're great. Let them know you appreciate it. I think to all the people who have ever helped me or spoke positively to push my art along and how much I appreciated it, and I try to return the favor, man. That's just how I've always done, or tried to do anyways. And I'd want everyone else to do the same, man. Let's stop stepping on each other's necks. Let's stop trying to compete. It's not a competition, man. As much as this is gonna sound like a bunch of hot air and positive hooey, being honest, all of it isn't a competition, dude. We should be helping each other out. I got the chance thanks to one of my old mentors and bosses, Denny Stevenson, the guy that used to run Legends Comics. He saw in me someone that could help him, obviously, in terms of doing digital stuff and so on like that, because he didn't really have a reliable source for it, and found it to be useful. And in that, he helped me better cope with the factor of taking my art and attempting to go to cons with it and so on like that, in exchange for doing digital artwork or digital work for him and everything. And that was huge for me. As we speak right now, the comic shop I grew up going to has a piece of my artwork hanging on the side of the building and inside too. But still, if 14-year-old me knew that's what it would turn into, I'd be losing my freaking mind. All because someone believed in me and believed in my art. And there have been people in the past. I'm not about to sit here and pretend like no one's ever believed in me before. No, but someone believed enough to trust having something of mine represent their business. That's huge to me. It really is. And without that, I don't know where I'd be artistically right now. And even though it's only been 4 years since that, not even 4 years, 3 years since that happened, whatever, I don't know where I'd be artistically. I took a huge break from art back 2007 or so, and didn't get back into arting again until about 2010, heavily. And I had to relearn and regrow and all this. And where I am now, I'm not super happy, but honest to goodness, if you're happy where you are artistically, you're content, then you're not going to grow anymore. You gotta not be happy with your art to a degree so that you can say, all right, damn it, I need to do better. And I'm trying. I really am. You guys out there who may listen to this and do art and so on like that too, same to you. All right, try, keep growing, don't be content, but at the same time, don't hate your own, don't hate others. Even as, again, if they're not your flavor, they're not your flavor, but that doesn't mean you should sit there and not support the idea of them trying to do, create and that kind of thing. I'm talking more than I'm drawing, and it's probably making a very boring video, and I'm sorry, but my point I'm getting at here is, you know, if you like this and you're inspired by it, neat, cool, push others. Instead of, you know, circle jerking in comments about ourselves, let's push towards others, you know? I've got a ton of art bros in mind that are beautiful, fantastic artists that I feel like need to be bigger and should be bigger than they are, you know, outside of myself. And I've done everything in my power to try and help them go to shows, do more, expose them to the entirety of Facebook and so forth. Take it or leave it. It's just one of those things that I'm not doing this for some sort of self-inflated ego or to feel better about myself or whatever. You know, I'm doing it because someone did it for me, and it changed my outlook on a lot of things. So why not help somebody else do it? You know. And I'm not, obviously not the only person doing this. There are other people out there. Big names are doing it, man. Aaron Hansen, you guys may know him as Ego Raptor. I know him as Ego Raptor. I'm not pretending, oh, we're good, close, personal friends. No, but Aaron, he does the whole Cutie Saturday thing to push and help other artists and stuff. Man, that's rad. That's awesome. You know, I wish I had enough reach to be able to do something like that. But I don't. So until I do, fingers crossed, God willing, maybe I will, I'm going to push locally as hard as I can. You know, Lee Cooper, Shell Sweet, Jeremy, all these cats I know. I'm not about to sit here and start naming off names like a jerk or whatever, but there are a lot of great artists. You know, the twins, which I'm just going to call them the twins. I'm not going to call them out individually. These guys, they're all up and coming great artists that are doing it for fun, doing it for themselves, and I know they get discouraged just like me. But you guys are great artists, and I love you guys, and I want you to make it just as much as I want to make it for myself. Stop competing. Start helping each other up. Let's all be a total bro art community, and let's make something happen with it. Is this where I have the inspirational music kind of swell in? Because I'm not going to. I'm not. But you get the idea. And I just burped. You know what? We're going to call it. So, yeah, there's Ernie Drawing Faces. Any ideas or suggestions, whatever, or questions, whatever the case may be, if you like this and I do it more often, neat. So yeah, just be in touch, talk to me, and let's see how it goes, huh? This has been fun. I guess join me next time for more ZombieErnie draws, I guess.